Okay, let's dive right in. We are apparently standing right at the edge of maybe the most profound redefinition of work in, what, a century? And I want to kick this off with a question directly for you listening. What's the actual emotional cost of your current administrative, let's call it a chokehold?
That's such a strong way to put it, and it's so true. Because, for years, work, especially in some key areas, has just been swallowed by process, not by people.
Right, like HR, finance functions meant to support people and growth, but they're just stuck.
Exactly, stuck in this paradox, right? They're drowning in compliance tracking, endless spreadsheets, chasing approvals. It's all low-value stuff that eats up the entire week. Deadlines, forms.
And what we're seeing, what these sources are pointing to, is that this big tech shift happening right now,
Yeah.
it isn't just about like faster paperwork. It's pitched as something much bigger, liberation almost.
Yeah, liberation's a good word for it. Giving us back our humanity at work. AI isn't just automating tasks anymore. It's becoming this almost invisible layer.
Yeah.
Thinking, predicting, even deciding alongside us.
Reasoning, not just doing.
Precisely. And that invisible revolution, it's likely starting where the pain is worst right now. Think about payroll.
Oh yeah, the ultimate deadline nightmare.
Yeah.
Rigid, stressful.
Totally. The most deadline-driven thing in almost any company. But the sources talk about this concept, autonomous payroll, where it stops being this manual, transactional grind,
It becomes
a real-time trust mechanism. That's the phrase they use.
the heartbeat of trust.
Yeah.
Wow. And the actual processing, it just disappears, becomes invisible.
Largely, yeah. So our mission for this deep dive is basically to explore how this tech liberation could spark what we're calling the human renaissance, that shift from drowning in process to actually being unlocked for purpose.
Okay, let's make that concrete. What does autonomous actually mean for payroll? Like day to day?
It means the system is smart enough to fix itself, mostly. It's not just calculating pay, it's pulling in real-time attendance data, constantly updating tax rules across different places automatically.
Without someone manually inputting those changes.
Right. And checking for errors, validating compliance.
Yeah.
Before the pay run even finishes. It means that deadline panic, the 15th and 30th. It just sort of fades.
Okay, that alone sounds revolutionary for anyone who's had to fix a typo in a time card like 5 minutes before the deadline.
Doesn't it? But let's unpack the roles this changes. Starting with HR, human resources. Because its whole identity seems to be shifting, fundamentally.
Oh, so what are the specifics?
Well, the sources talk a lot about AI co-pilots popping up everywhere in HR. Imagine an AI drafting a first version of a job description.
Sure.
Using market analysis, sure, but also internal performance data. Or designing a personalized onboarding plan based on what the new hire already knows. Or even reading through, say, hundreds of performance reviews and pulling out the main themes.
Wow, okay, that's weeks of operational work just vanishing. So the HR professional, they move upstream, you said.
Exactly, upstream. But what's the new role? If they're not the administrator, not the operator anymore, what are they?
Yeah, what are they?
They become interpreters, designers of the human experience at work. Their value isn't measured by how many transactions they push through anymore.
Right.
It's measured by the quality of the human insight that the technology helps surface. The machine does the number crunching, the analysis. The human figures out what it means and what to do about it. The intervention.
Okay, but I can hear some leaders listening thinking, that sounds great, but also maybe a bit terrifying. If the machine handles the complex analysis and the process, what's the uniquely human part, the irreplaceable bit?
It's handling the profound. That's the key. No algorithm, no matter how smart, can have a truly empathetic conversation about someone's fear of change or their need to belong or their search for purpose at work.
Give me an example.
Okay, think about a manager noticing subtle signs of burnout in a team member. AI might flag attendance data or sentiment analysis. Sure, it can give you the what.
But it can't sit down and have that difficult, supportive conversation.
Exactly. Or an HR leader figuring out the company's ethical stance on, a really complex social issue. AI can crunch data on employee opinions, maybe? But it can't make the judgment call. It can't weigh the values.
So the why it matters and the how to respond, that remains deeply human.
That's it. So this human renaissance idea, the ultimate freedom comes when the machines take over the repetitive stuff, yes, but also the complex analytical work. That frees up our mental bandwidth.
To think, to imagine,
Right.
to connect with people.
Yes. To empathize again. Machines run the operations. Humans design the possibility. We stop firefighting administrative issues and start thinking strategically about, how do we actually build a workplace where people genuinely thrive?
Okay, designing possibility. That sounds like a very different kind of organization. Does that imply those old walls between departments like HR and finance have to come down?
They're already starting to dissolve. And what's fascinating is how AI forces this. Because AI doesn't care about org charts. It follows the data
And the data crosses those old lines.
all the time. Think about an employee. Their hours worked. That's payroll, HR, and finance data. Their performance review, HR and finance, for comp planning. Their compensation itself, all three. It's all interconnected.
Which means those old, rigid ERP systems, the ones built around those separate functions, doing batch updates, they become the bottleneck, right?
They absolutely do. They can't keep up. So we're seeing this push, almost a mandatory shift, away from monthly or quarterly cycles towards continuous everything, continuous accounting, continuous payroll, driven by data that's flowing constantly in real time.
And that convergence means the leaders, the CFO and the CHRO, they can't live in their own worlds anymore.
No way. They effectively become co-architects,
Yeah.
managing this combined human financial ecosystem together. They're jointly responsible for the risks and the value tied up in their people.
Co-architects. I like that. So this convergence, it must completely change some really traditional roles. The sources mentioned the payroll professional specifically, moving from processor to, what was it, guardian of integrity?
Yeah, guardian of integrity.
Yeah.
And it's a really crucial new kind of role. It's focused entirely on governance, on validation, on interpretation.
So what does that guardian do all day? They're not keying in data anymore.
No, they're monitoring the system. They're proactively looking at regulatory changes and figuring out how they impact the automated rules. They're ensuring the system's decisions are fair, compliant, ethical.
Like an auditor, but looking forward instead of backward.
Kind of, but more proactive. For example, say the AI flags some weird anomaly in time tracking just for one specific group of employees. The Guardian's job isn't just to fix the data. It's to hit pause, investigate why it's happening. Is there a bias in the system? Is there a policy issue?
So it's about understanding the logic now, not just the rules, the algorithms behind the rules.
Precisely. And the ethical stakes here get really high, really fast because of this seamless data flow.
How so?
Well, if HR data about someone's promotion potential flows instantly into finance's compensation models, the integrity of that initial data point is absolutely critical. Get it wrong, or have bias creep in, and the consequences ripple through everything.
So things like data privacy, cybersecurity, ethical AI governance, they stop being IT issues and become core leadership responsibilities.
They have to be. It's a shared responsibility across the whole organization. Leaders have to understand this isn't just a tool, it's reshaping how the business operates, ethically and financially.
Okay, let's connect this to the bigger picture. Service models. Big companies often use global business services or managed services partners. How does this change that game? They can't just compete on cheaper headcount anymore, can they?
Not effectively, no. The whole basis of competition shifts. It's no longer about price per transaction. It's about the quality of intelligence they provide.
Quality of intelligence, meaning?
Meaning, how accurate are their predictions? How good are they at spotting anomalies before they become problems? How robust is their real-time governance? It's not just about hitting SLAs for closing tickets.
So the relationship changes too, from just outsourcing tasks to something more collaborative.
Yeah, the sources call it co-intelligence. Clients aren't just buying cheap labor anymore. They're buying predictive capability. They're buying peace of mind that the system is fair and accurate. It's a much more mature relationship.
Okay, this brings us to the really practical bit, the actionable takeaway for everyone listening, your career strategy. If processes are automating, silos are dissolving. What's the smartest thing you can invest in for your career right now?
The sources are pretty unanimous on this. It's not about deep technical specialization in one narrow area anymore.
Because the machine can learn that faster.
Exactly. The most important skill, the core skill, becomes adaptive intelligence. Your ability to learn continuously, connect dots across different fields, that's the differentiator.
That actually sounds freeing. It means you don't have to be the world expert on, I don't know, Section 409A tax code forever because the AI knows the rules.
Right. Your value isn't just memorization. Data literacy, though. That becomes as essential as empathy. You need both.
Technologist and humanist.
Kind of, yeah. You need to be comfortable with the data, able to translate it into stories people understand, and translate complex policies back into trust within the organization. You don't need to write the code, maybe.
But you need to understand what the code is doing and its implications.
Absolutely. You need to know how to read the output, question it, understand its impact. The value shifts fundamentally. Machines know the rules. Our job is to ask the right questions of the machines.
Applying judgment, context, ethics,
Yeah.
things the machine doesn't have.
That's where the human interpretive intelligence shines. So the best personal strategy, the research points towards staying in, get this, permanent beta.
Permanent beta, I like that. Like software that's always being updated, constantly learning, adapting, exploring new things.
Exactly. Cultivating that beginner's mindset even when you're experienced. Treating your own knowledge like an OS that needs constant upgrades.
Because success belongs to those who keep developing those irreplaceable qualities.
Yes. Empathy, creativity, ethical judgment, the things machines just can't replicate. Those become your core assets.
Okay, let's pull this all together. We're on this bridge. The next 5 years seem critical. What's the roadmap for organizations?
It seems to be a sequence. First, digital discipline. You have to clean up your data, build solid foundations. Garbage in, garbage out still applies, even with AI.
Step one, get your house in order.
Right. Then comes intelligent integration. Deploying AI not just as point solutions, but as a learning system that connects across the enterprise.
And the final step.
That's the hardest one.
Yeah.
Human redesign. Reshaping roles, reshaping culture to actually enable this human renaissance we've been talking about.
Which for leaders means letting go of control a bit, moving towards orchestration.
Definitely. Setting the vision, defining the ethical guardrails, asking the big strategic questions, but trusting the systems and the empowered humans to operate within that framework.
So the takeaway isn't really if technology will transform work in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
That train has left the station.
It's already happening, yeah. The real challenge, the profound question for all of us, is whether we as humans will rise to meet that transformation.
With wisdom, integrity, imagination.
Exactly. Can we use this liberation wisely? Can we focus on the truly human work now that the administrative burden is lifting? That, I think, is the real work of the next decade.